Hey guys, and welcome to the very first episode of The Sims 4 Secret House. So I've had this Let's Play in the making for literally months, since last August. And then, things just went awry in my life, and unfortunately I had to postpone it. But finally, after many, many months and many, many tears and sweats, I'm finally releasing the very first episode of this new Let's Play for you guys. So I guess I'll give a little bit of a background. This Let's Play originally started out as I was gonna do a machinima. I really felt like I was really creative, really felt like doing some sort of machinima, and I'm not even kidding you, I would go out with my little journal and I would just write stories and characters about these Sims. And then what ended up happening was that I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna make this into a Let's Play, because my last Let's Play, unfortunately, rest in peace, The Sims 4 Animal Crossing Challenge, ended too early. Hopefully that this won't happen, fingers crossed with this Let's Play, but I'm really excited to finally be getting this out to you guys. So that's a little background now. I don't really know what else much to say, but I'm really excited. There's so many different things that's going to be happening in this Let's Play in future episodes, and I have a lot of things figured out and planned, and these characters are so diverse and so creative, and yeah, I'm just really excited. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm first going to explain this Let's Play first. Should I explain the story? I'm not really sure what I should do first. I think what I'm gonna do is introduce to you guys the characters. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. So the first thing I'm gonna do is introduce you guys to the characters. If you follow me on Twitter, I did actually show you guys pictures and brief little descriptions of these characters. But finally, you're going to get to meet them firsthand. I absolutely am in love with them. Whoopsie, you're gonna have to excuse my mouse for a second. Okay, so this is the very first character that I'm going to introduce. You can see the other two characters, hey. So this is the very first character that I'm going to be introducing to you guys. This is Morgan Spiker. He is the older brother of Miss Chris Spiker, who is on the Miss Krista Spiker, who's on the right, and he is a very good friend of Miss Lila Carmen, who is on the left. So I'm going to introduce to you guys his traits, first of all. He is a kleptomaniac, and I'll explain to you guys later why I gave him that trait. He is active, obviously you can kind of tell he is a bro, and he is alluring because he wants to be just kind of a player. I guess I don't really know what other word to describe it, but that is the kind of character that he is. So now over here, this is Miss Krista Spiker. So she is the sister of Morgan. She doesn't really look like it, but they actually are. But she obviously is in love with the color pink. She even dyed her hair pink, and she's in a very pink outfit. So Miss Krista Spiker over here, she is mean. She's not a nice girl. That's the first thing that we're going to get out of the way. She is not... It can be hard to be friends with her sometimes. However, she is extremely smart. She's a bookworm, she is a genius, and she is a quick learner. So she kind of has the dreams of going to the scientist career, but unfortunately she doesn't go in it to try to, do some good to the world, and maybe make some new inventions to do good into the world. Unfortunately, she wants to do a little harm. So she is going to be kind of a mad scientist. And the final character that we have here is Miss Lila Carmen. Now, poor Lila Carmen, a lot has happened in her life. So unfortunately, she is a little gloomy due to her past, which I will explain in a bit. She is a kleptomaniac, which again, I'll explain to you guys why I gave them Mr. Morgan and Miss Lila, the kleptomaniac trait. And she is also family-oriented and surprisingly domestic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to explain to you guys the backstories behind these characters. So we're going to start off with Lila Carmen, because she is kind of she's not the main character, but a lot centralizes around her, I guess we could say. So I'm not sure if you guys remember, but back in August, if you saw two videos, they were basically a machinima that revolved around Miss Lila Carmen. They didn't really get to show much about her that I wanted to show, so I guess I'm going to explain it to you guys now. So Miss Lila Carmen, she comes from a very white picket fence home. She had two extremely loving and caring parents, and she there was nothing really wrong with their life. Miss Lila was growing up to be an extremely young, great child. She grew up into a child that was smart, straight A's in school. She went to high school eventually as a teenager, straight A's once again. But unfortunately, when Miss Lila was a teenager, a bit of a tragedy happened in her life, and unfortunately, her parents passed away in a tragic car accident. So, of course, Lila, she was never able to recover from this. Her life was completely devastated. Her life was just amazing up until her teenage years, until her family unfortunately passed away. And it was just really tragic for her. So this is where actually the stories of these two siblings come into play. Because Lila, when she was a child, is when she first met Krista and Morgan Spiker. She met them in elementary school, in the kindergarten, and they were the first two siblings. They were the first people that talked to her because she was a new student. Her family had moved and she was a new student, and these were the first two people that came and talked to her. So they ended up becoming extremely good friends. So what ended up happening actually when Lila was left alone was that Morgan and Krista had asked their parents for Lila to move in with them. She was all alone. She didn't, she was new into the area. Her other family members weren't around. So she moved in with Morgan and Krista because they were extremely, extremely close friends, and luckily she was able to move in with them. However, this is where the story of Morgan and Krista comes into play. So Morgan and Krista are two siblings, obviously. When they were younger, they were generally quite good children. They were a bit mischievous. They weren't as good in school as Lila was, but they weren't bad children. And of course, Miss Krista over there was extremely smart in school as she is now. She was a high IQ and high grades. And she was, a little bit more mischievous than Morgan, but they were generally all right kids. Unfortunately, they didn't grow up in an amazing household as Lila did. So Morgan and Krista's parents, they were not on the best terms. Unfortunately, their father actually, was a bit abusive. He was not the best father. He was never really around. He was never able to hold down a job and was never really able to support his family. And their poor mother was an absolute sweetheart. Their mothers tried to do everything for their kids, but unfortunately, and tried to keep the family together with the abusive father that they had, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out. So unfortunately, one day, their parents actually, so Miss Spiker ended up passing away, on completely unrelated terms from the abuse. So don't worry, nothing bad happened there. But unfortunately, now they were left alone with their abusive father. And it was at this point where Lila came into the household. So the father barely even knew Lila. He didn't even care that she was there. She barely even knew, who Lila was. So that's kind of how she was able to join the family, because they just kind of asked, like, hey, can Lila come in? And the father was just like, yeah, whatever, He wasn't really involved with the kids' lives. And at this point, they were teenagers. So he was getting older. He didn't really care. And of course, even though he was quite abusive, kind of not really involved with his family, he still loved his wife. So he was extremely loving, and he was completely devastated when his wife passed away, because it was only then when he realized that how much he loved her and how much she meant to his life. But unfortunately, it was too late, because now she was gone, and now he just went into even worse of a father. So he really didn't, wasn't any much better. He was probably almost worse. So what ended up happening, and this is where we are getting to the point now, when they were older, Morgan over here, he is a great guy. He may seem intimidating at first, but when it comes to protecting the ones he loves, Lila and Krista, he loves them both completely. He could be very bossy, demanding, and he will do what he's got to do to protect the ones he loves. So his father, being still quite abusive, got into a huge fight with Morgan. And, the father was never able to support, and Morgan just, had enough of the abusive relationship with his father. So he eventually, one day, just had enough. There was a huge fight in the household, and eventually the three of them packed up and left. They literally left with $0. I'm not even kidding you. They are completely flat broke. They didn't even manage to save anything except their clothing. So, they ran away and they stumbled across this house right here. And this house is actually called the Secret House. It's got a lot of secrets to it. I'm not going to spoil anything right now, but you'll be introduced to some of the secrets. So this is where they're going to be living. It's a very broken down house, and it's going to be hard for them to adjust, I mean, they are completely bankrupt. They don't have a job, nothing. So we're just going to have to make do with what they have. So that is basically the story of these three. Hopefully it wasn't too dark for you guys. I'm going to try getting away from this kind of like story mode that I was in for the past like 10 minutes. Hopefully the story wasn't too dark for you guys. I don't know, I had fun making the story. Hopefully you guys maybe understood it, or hopefully it was a little creative, but that's basically the story that we're going to be working with. So this is the house that they have found. The secret house, the infamous secret house. So I'm going to give a quick tour. There's literally nothing here. They don't even have paint on the walls, so they're going to have horrible moods, like unfinished painting and all that kind of stuff. Plants are starting to take over this house. It's been completely vandalized and everything. And they literally have just a bathtub and this toilet and one bed. I'm not even kidding, that's all that they have. They have managed to have a fridge, luckily, and a microwave. They kind of have this table over here. They have another toilet, and they have this really useless living room, really. They have a grill, and they have this special wishing well. Unfortunately for them, for us, I think we all know what this wishing well can do. But for them, they have no idea what this wishing well, so they might be getting some little surprises coming in. But yeah, this is basically the story of these three Sims. And this is the secret house. So I think I'm going to end this episode right here. We're not going to get into anything. That was literally just an introduction episode. Hopefully it seems kind of interesting for you guys. We're going to be getting into it more in the next episodes, trying to survive. I could also introduce to you guys some more rules right now, actually. Before we end, we're going to introduce some more rules. So there's some rules that I kind of created. So we have, first of all, $0. There are some moments to work with. But we're going to try to make this more realistic. So first of all, I've enabled the cheat, hopefully, if it works, that we are not going to be getting any bills, because it's kind of unrealistic. Like, it's an abandoned home, we're not getting any bills. You know what I'm saying? Even though there is lights and stuff, but we'll pretend there's some way that it works, whatever. And also we're not allowed to delete vegetation unless paying. We have to have a certain amount of money, so I will use a cheat. So we'll kind of like delete these, but there'll be a fine. I'm not sure if you'll understand it, but eventually, like, if we want to extend the house, whatnot, build whatever, or delete walls, add walls, it's going to cost money. I'll explain it more in future episodes, but that's kind of what I'm aiming for. We have some also, if they need to use the bathroom, these they come with get together. I don't know what they're called, bathroom bushes, whatever. I don't really know what you want to call them. But yeah, so this is basically the first episode of the secret house. Hopefully their story wasn't too dark, like I said, but hopefully they seemed kind of interesting. So I think I'm going to end this off right here, and we will definitely be getting more into their story, more into the drama, the greediness. Oh yes, what I also wanted to say was the reason that they have this kleptomaniac trait is just, since they're completely broke, they're mischievous, they are going to be a little bit naughty. So I guess you'll see more what I mean in future episodes. Yeah, but I guess that's it. It was just an introduction. I'm probably going to leave rules in the description. I might have a blog post or something eventually when I set up a blog more about the story of these three. And yeah, so I think I'm just going to end it off right here before I continue talking forever. We're going to end it right here. Yeah, I know it was short. It wasn't too long. It was just an introduction. But hopefully it seems interesting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, so if you have any suggestions for this Let's Play or any ideas whatsoever, let me know in the comment section down below what you think. And be sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more content. So I will leave you guys here. leave you guys in suspense, and I will record another episode and get into the fun stuff. So yeah, so I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye, guys.